this microphone. Can you hear me now? Hopefully. Fingers crossed. Well, we will try again. And I shall say welcome to Lunch and Learn Live all over again on a very cold day in the UK. I don't know what it's like wherever you are in the world, but it's bloody cold here and I didn't want to take my cardigan off. But here we are and it's good. Thank you, Patricia. That's great. Thank you so much for letting me know that we're in the right place and you can hear me now. Hooray! Today in our Lunch and Learn Live, we are going to be chatting about why women's coaches are not just for women. And the massive impact that we can have when we start, rather than thinking about helping just one person, we can think about how all of us, no matter whether we're qualified coaches or not, can actually see a huge ripple effect with the impact that we have when we support women in the community. So I'm excited to be sharing this today and really great to have you here, my darlings. What I would like to say is hello. So as you arrive, please do say hello to me in the comments section. Let me know where in the world you are and what's for lunch. I just had leftover mince pie, not fruit mince pie, not those mince pies, but like, beef pie that I made. I haven't had it since I've been gluten-free for maybe 15, 20 years or something. And I just was out in the garden with the kids on the weekend and it was Sunday afternoon. I was in the swing with James. He was having a hot chocolate. I was having a cup of tea. And I said, what should we have for dinner? He's like, I don't know. And then after a while I just went, oh, I really fancy a pie. Pie. And I just got fixated with pie. And then James thought it was hilarious that every time he went to say something, I just went, pie. So we came inside, we made some gluten-free pastry and we made a delicious pie and it was very, very nice. Yay. Good to see you all here. Hello, Alison. Hello, Patricia. Oh, Alison's full of cold. That's no good. Good to see you though, nonetheless. How are you all, my darlings? Good to see you. Really, really good to see you. So let's jump into today's topic and what we're having a chat about. In the comment section, it'd be really great to hear if you are a coach or a manager of women and you are working with women to kind of get a bit of a sense of who we are supporting here. That I think is a really interesting question in and of itself, because I think most of us who aren't qualified coaches wouldn't necessarily think of ourselves as coaches. But in my humble opinion, every single person on the planet has the potential to be a coach. Because what is a coach? A coach is, by definition, according to the ICF, someone who works in partnership with a coachee, helping them to unlock their creativity and become more resourceful in their problem solving and to create the life that they want. So I believe that if we all kind of take a coaching approach to our work, we can even take a coaching approach to our friendships, to our family and parenting. If we take this coaching approach where we look at how can we create partnership with people to help them to unlock their creativity, to unlock new resources and new ways of approaching the world, Jesus, I think we would live in a pretty awesome world if everyone supported each other like that. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't want my friends to be helping me unlock resources all of the time. Sometimes what I want more than anything else is just to be heard out, to have a bit of what I call a whine and get something off my chest. So I think that's a valid kind of recognition. I'm not saying turn every relationship into coaching and you're always coaching people with a capital C. But I do think that if we come from this place, it's a really profound place to come from. So what we've seen throughout our work here at One of Many and what our certified coaches see, and I know that many of you here watching this are our certified coaches as well, the impact that we have on someone when we coach them goes far beyond the person that we're working with. Because when we equip and empower somebody to become more, when we equip and unlock their own empowerment, because we don't do the empowerment as coaches, I think that's really important to say. We don't actually do the empowering piece. What we do is we help someone to find their resources, find the empowerment inside themselves, take their own power back from wherever they've been giving it away, and step up and do whatever it is they feel called to do, set their intentions, achieve those intentions, and make a real difference in the world. And when we support someone to do that, it's not just their lives that change. Everybody around them gets the impact of that. It's not just, and especially when that person is a woman. Now, is that true when I say especially when that person is a woman? I don't have data on that in the developed world, in first world countries, but certainly in their great book, Half the Sky, the authors share a huge amount of research that shows that when you equip and empower a woman in the developing world to take authorship of her own life, to be able to turn her own financial well-being around, when you educate her, even just especially the education of young girls is one of the most profound metrics that we can impact to be able to transform communities. When you empower a girl, you transform communities. Because as that girl gets empowered, she becomes a parent oftentimes. She shares what she knows. When she makes money, she shares it with her friends. When her family, when her family have got enough, she shares it with her friends in her community, and on it goes. And there is huge amounts of data and research that back up the observation that when we educate women in the developing world, it is better for the communities than the contrast of educating or empowering a boy or a man. Now, it's not to say we shouldn't support men as well. That's not the point. The point here is that when we invest our resources in the girl children and women, it's a far greater return on investment, and it has a massive impact in the world. One of the reasons why I love the Hunger Project, just as a by the by, which is an extraordinary organization who are not about giving handouts, but do work to equip and empower communities through women-centered strategies, helping them to be the authors of their own destiny and end hunger in their communities, end poverty in their communities. It is so profound. This is why I love the work of the Hunger Project. This is why I'm on the board of the Hunger Project. And just a little by the by, next week's Lunch and Learn Live is happening on Giving Tuesday, and I'm going to be hosting a fantastic competition to assist with some fundraising for the Hunger Project that's going to be happening next week. So please do come help me out and get ready to win a very, very cool prize indeed next Tuesday. But I digress. So it's for all of those reasons that I love the Hunger Project. Which reasons? The reasons that if we put women at the center, we get an incredible return on investment and those community-wide changes happen. Now, for me, I think to myself, why would that not be the case in the UK, in Australia, in Europe? God, I just turned that off and it's still pinging. In in the States, in Canada, in Europe, and not just in Western societies, but in any societies where there is wealth and privilege. Why would it not be the same that if we can support and empower a woman, we could transform a community? That was our hypothesis when we started One of Many, and over the course of the last, and I'm really lost. It was 2014 I started. What does that make? 7 years? Coming was in the last 7 years. What we have seen in our community is exactly that. When a woman changes, whether she be on our Lead the Change program or she be the client of one of our certified coaches or what have you, when she changes, it's not just her that reaps the benefit of that. It's her entire family. If she has children, because mummy's showing up much more calmly, mum's showing up much more resourced, mum's taking care of her own needs, and so she's not, strapped and at her wit's end. It's her partner if she has one, for all of the same reasons. It's her friends, because as she feels more self-expressed and more in her truth and more aligned with herself, she's able to be a role model for her friends, and she's able to take that, what we call a fierce committed stand, or that coaching stand for her friendship group. It's not just there though, it also ripples out to her workplaces, those places she goes and makes her impact in the world if she's working. Her co-workers notice the difference and they start responding accordingly. I mean, we've got so many extraordinary examples of women who've done programs with us or with our certified coaches, and then they've been noticed by other team members and then been asked to become the well-being champion, for instance, of their organization, or asked to take the lead on a women's on a women's empowerment initiative that they want to bring in. I mean, this has happened many, many, many times in our community, which is quite profound and extraordinary. So I think it's really, really critical for us to identify that it's not just the woman, it's everyone that she comes in contact with that can benefit from her stepping up. And this is why we are so passionate about spreading these tools and getting them out to 1 million women around the world. And I hope one day maybe even more. We just kind of set ourselves a target that felt achievable. And it's certainly not something that is achievable by ourselves. It is something that we need the support of women like you to do. You know, we know we've got tools that work for women because we had many hundreds, if not thousands of women coming through and using our tools and changing their lives and impacting the people around them. And so that's why we launched our coaching certification program, so that we could share those tools with you to be able to then share with the people in your world. This is what we're looking for, helping people to change their corner of the world. And I can't change every corner of the world, right? I am me, my version of me, looking through my lens, an Australian living in the UK, white, middle class, heterosexual, like there's a whole lot of lenses that I have, which make me, well, and yes, I am absolutely committed and continue to do the work to become present to my lenses. And there's so many people in the world who won't resonate with my messaging or the way that we do things. But the tools that we share here at One of Many, we've seen impact women in multiple different communities, and we want to be able to spread this out far and wide into the corporate world, into all sorts of different communities in the community sector. We want to spread it far and wide, because we know when we equip and empower a woman, she changes not just her life, but the lives of people around her. It's really profound. Interesting. Paran says, it's so true, Joe. The Prophet Muhammad said that it's best to educate the girl. If you only have a choice between the boy and girl, she will transfer the skills to her children. That's really interesting, right? And it makes sense. It absolutely makes sense. So, yes, what's that saying? Yeah, great. Excellent. So we're really excited about that. Trace, did you hear back from anyone about?
No, I haven't yet. I've been chasing them.
Could you give Jane a quick ring or something for me? Sorry, I just got a little distracted there. So my question for you is, if you were the most fully self-expressed and the most resourced version of yourself, whose lives would change? So let's make this personal for a second. Whose lives would change if you were the most powerful and resourced version of you? Go through it. I know for me, it impacts not just myself, it also impacts my kids. It impacts my wider family, my siblings, my mum, my dad. It impacts my husband. It impacts my friends, those that I'm very close with. It impacts everybody on my team at One of Many. And because it impacts everybody in my team at One of Many, it impacts all of the clients that we work with all of our community at One of Many. So the more that I can invest in myself, the better I can get at my work, the better that I can become. The ripples are far, far reaching. It certainly is it's a great reminder and a great reason to prioritize one's own well-being, bearing in mind the fact that it has such a far-reaching impact. So who is it for you? Please let me know in the comment section here. I would love to hear from one or two of you. Who is it? Who's in your kind of sphere of influence, which when you step up, when you shift, when you really take yourself on, you will actually make a big difference for others as well. I want to hear from one or two of you there. Let me know. And as you're sharing that, I want to let you know that we have an introductory workshop coming up really soon for our coaching certification. So if you're someone who has been thinking about becoming a coach and becoming more resourced in that area, I would love to invite you along to Essential Skills for Coaching Women. We run this a couple of times a year, and this is our December event. And it goes from 9:30 to 12:30 London time. It says Europe there, but it's actually London time. So 9:30 to 12:30 on London time. And on the workshop, I'm going to be sharing some really powerful coaching tools like powerful questioning, an awesome practice called devoted listening, and also a lot about our paradigm. So if you're new to the community, understanding where we come from, why we approach things the way that we do, and why we put women at the center of the work that we do. We'll also introduce you to the 5 women's power types and how you can support other people with them to become more resourced, more empowered in your coaching, your consulting, or your management. And if you're interested in becoming a one of many certified women's coach on our ICF International Coach Federation approved training, I'll be giving all of the details on that too. So that is coming up on the 7th of December, right in a couple of weeks' time. That is also the week that I'm moving house, right? Or the next week? Maybe the next week. Hopefully the next week. Oh, yes, it looks like our house move is imminent. So very soon Lunch and Learn Live will be coming to you from a very lemon-colored background in my new office until I renovate it. I hope. Maybe not. Maybe I'll choose a different room. Wonderful. So Debbie says, the people that I impact are the county that we serve, future generations, because Debbie is in the wills and trusts arena. She's an incredible lawyer in that area, supporting people with wills and trusts. And the planet with all the trees we plant. That's right, because Debbie's got an amazing partnership with Tree Sisters, where she plants trees as part of her community initiative inside of her organization. This is it, Debbie. So we got to look after Debbie, right? We got to look after Debbie. Perrin says, my partner has already changed. He adores you. Oh, that's so lovely. His words are, I did what Joe said. I love it. And this is it, right? Our tools are not exclusively for women. I know Perrin's husband joins us on Lunch and Learn quite frequently, so a big shout out to you. Absolutely, 90% of what we share is can absolutely work with men as well. It's 100%, not 100%, about 90% of it can work with for men as well. It's really only our women's power types and anything based in that, and it's a pretty easy shift across to the equivalent male archetype, certainly. Having said that, this is it. When we change, we can change our partner's lives, which is absolutely important. Shelley says that she can support my nuclear and extending family and friends. This happened when I visited my family in Colorado. My parents and friends mentioned it to me. My parents were pleasantly surprised. That's great to hear, Shelley. Well done. I love it. That's fantastic. Kat says the people that I can impact are the children that I nanny. Kat is an awesome nanny. I think you're in London. You're based in London, right? The children that I tutor, she says, the families that I support, and the nannies that I do workshops and speeches to. This is it, right? These are the people that we can impact. So it's critical that we, A, look after ourselves, and B, continue to resource ourselves to be the most awesome versions of ourselves that we can be. Do you know? I believe it starts with compassion and it starts with kindness. And that compassion and kindness starts with ourselves, giving ourselves what we need to be the best possible versions that we can. So, my darlings, I would absolutely love to see you at Essential Skills for Coaching Women on the 7th of December. Please do come and join me at 9:30 a.m. and I look forward to supporting you in becoming the most awesome person you can be, coming from that coaching paradigm. Lots of love to you all, my darlings. I will see you next week on Lunch and Learn Live, where I will be giving away an extraordinary prize, crazy great prize, and enlisting your support on the Hunger Project. I'll be sharing some great stories of change that will inspire you, great lessons of leadership that you will love, and you're going to help me in hitting our targets for Giving Tuesday next week, plus the opportunity to win something freaking awesome with me. All right, lots of love to you all. Bye.